Hello, everyone. This is Jordan. Welcome back to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video is being recorded on the late afternoon of Friday, May 23rd, 2025. Hope you all had a great week, and I'd like to wish you all a very happy Memorial Day weekend. I'd like to take a moment to thank all of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. You and your families, thank you so much. And as we do each and every Friday, we're going to wrap up the week in precious metals and look ahead. And it was another good week for precious metals, another better than expected week, I would say. Even though precious metals have been in a correction, every time they move up, it's stronger than I was anticipating. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about where things are going. First off, here is our market overview. These are 2-month daily candle charts. Gold here, gold against the S&P, silver. Don't want to waste your time reading them. But one thing I do want to point out, before today, and today we had a 1.8% gain in gold. Before today, this was a logical spot where if you're a bear, you would have wanted to see gold turn down. There is a bit of potential trend line resistance here. If you draw this like this, you had this on Thursday. So this could have marked a little peak. Gold could have come back down. So this was a really strong move higher, just in a very short-term sense. That's what really caught my eye. Silver hasn't quite broken out of this little consolidation yet. Gold against the S&P, as we mentioned last week, that has rebounded. That's popped higher. In the stocks, you can see just the rebound continued here. GDXJ, GDX, SILJ, still looking good. With respect to the stock market came down on new tariff fears. What's new? And the bond market, here's the 10-year yield, has been moving up, came down a little bit. The 30-year yield has actually been moving up even more. So that is a concern. So that's where we are for the overall market. Let's get into specifics. So let's start off here with the daily candle charts. Gold here at the top, silver here at the bottom. And so gold corrected 11%. I was looking for potentially 15%. You had this support here, which is a little bit below 3,000, which I believe 3,000 would have been 13 or 14%. So I sketched in a new line here as far as where could we be with respect to the correction. Now, it's still possible. I mean, if we were to get some big selling, some big sudden selling next week, maybe it could come down and have to test this again, and then it could come down and test the 200-day moving average. I don't think that will happen, but I don't want to throw that scenario away completely. I think there's some resistance here on the daily chart here and here, so maybe this pushes up a little more. But now I am leaning towards gold doing a bullish consolidation rather than further correction where it comes down here. So this is what a bullish consolidation would look like. Something like this. Doesn't have to test the 200-day moving average, but we'll keep this in mind because gold can correct as far as time. And look, a bullish consolidation like this, that would entail more correction in terms of time, but it also entails the price damage is all done. So that's where gold is. Silver, you have this big resistance here, 34.5, 35. It did have a good rebound here, but we'll see if it could just get some more buying power. Push up here to resistance one more time. Doesn't have to break it, but I would like to see that happen rather than gold going up here and then selling off, and then silver just goes up a little bit, kind of peters out like that. So keep that in mind for silver. Speaking of silver, one more thing. This is a daily line chart. This is a potential ascending triangle pattern. Not a huge fan of trend lines, but again, this is something you have to keep in mind. Not necessarily a prediction, but would love, and then this is another reason I want to see this just rally up here one more time. If it rallies up here one more time, that's multiple tests of this resistance. And even if it were to come back like this, the fact that it will have touched this 3 times is an indication of strength and that it's unlikely to come all the way back down to this trend line. So it is in this trend line, or excuse me, it is in an ascending triangle pattern, and a breakout would take it to 41. But it's got to go above 35 in that big resistance. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I guess that's the phrase of the day. Keep it in mind. So here's the weekly. Before this week, let me block the weekly candle in gold. So if we leave that there, just look at the preceding candles. They weren't bullish, but look what happened. Really bullish candle in gold. Gold was up Actually, 5% on the week. I misspoke. 5% on the week, not 1.7%. So hell of a week for gold. Now with silver, I do want to mention something important. So this is the weekly chart here, the weekly candle chart. This is the weekly line chart. And let's think about the progression of silver as far as support and resistance. And I'll start down here. So 28.29, this is resistance here, resistance here. So fails, 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 stays below it for a while, breaks above 26, fails, pulls back, gets above it, a little bit of a bounce. Now it comes back, tests it again, one test, two tests. So it's successful. Then you have another test. Then you have the stock market crash, but it's rebounded. Now it's pushing up. So what does that tell you? After all these tests, that tells you it's likely to test 35 and probably break it. And perhaps we can see that better here. 35, 28. And again, this is evolving into a bullish consolidation. And so a break above 34, 35, that's going to target 41. Remember, 35 is major resistance. That's really major resistance, people. We have to get ready because it could break out in 2 weeks or 2 months. I don't know, but we have to get ready because based on the price action, I believe we've seen so many successful tests. Remember, intraday, this actually came down and tested the 400-day or 80-week moving average. So all these successful tests of this support and already testing 34, 35 twice, given and including the recent price action, that tells us this is really threatening to break above 34 and 35 in the short to medium term. Now, let's look at some analog charts. So we're back to the gold all-time high breakout analog chart. This is where we are here and now. This is weekly data. And I really like this light blue line, the average here. This average, I think this is the best line for where we are, where we've come from, and where potentially gold could go. I mentioned bullish consolidation. That's what this is right here. Slightly upward sloping, but this is a bullish consolidation. Then we get a big move higher for, what is that, about 3 months. Then you have a significant correction. So maybe gold continues to bullish consolidate for a couple more months. Then it makes a big move higher. And then if it goes above 4,000 to 4,500 or something like that, perhaps at that point, then you can see a 17% or even a 20% correction before it resumes higher after that. Now, moving on to the next analog, here is the gold bull analog, and here is where we are here and now. So this is looking at the best cyclical bull markets in gold. You can see down here, these are all the best cyclical moves in gold. I like the average right here, and we've been running along with the average. We've gone above it. Gold's a little extended. So that also feeds into the idea that perhaps we consolidate for a couple more months. Consolidate bullishly. There's a difference between a bullish consolidation and a correction. Consolidation is a form of a correction, but again, there's a difference between the two. I really like this average line, the average of the four. I believe this comes up to about 5,000 next summer. So that's, what, about 15, 16 months from now? 5,000 gold? Who wouldn't take that? And here's silver. And so this is silver's performance after gold breaks out to an all-time high. This is where silver is now. So silver has been running weak, but here and now, if you look at the other lines, I mean, this is close to a point where they're all accelerating higher. So who knows, but maybe based on this analog, silver, again, if it breaks 35, you could see a move to 37 into 42. That would put it right around here. So these accelerations actually lines up with what silver is going to do when it breaks above 35 and 37. It's going to accelerate. Now, moving on, let's talk about the stocks first. Those of you who are subscribers to the Daily Gold Premium and have joined us recently, thank you so much. Thank you for your business. I appreciate you. And those of you who own stocks, you own juniors and minors, I think it would behoove you to strongly consider joining us at the Daily Gold Premium. We are looking for the highest quality fundamental companies that have the most upside potential. We're looking for those stocks that can be 3x, 5x, even 10x baggers over the next couple of years. Silver stocks, people, this is a huge opportunity right now. There's not many of them. You got to own the high quality silver names and even the high quality gold juniors. You got to get in sooner rather than later because potentially 3, 6, 12 months from now, they're going to be too expensive. You want to get in on the high quality stocks. Time is ticking on those. Please consider joining us. Head to thedailygold.com/premium. Thank you. And moving on, let's talk about the stocks. Okay, so remember the big picture for the gold stocks. In the past few months, they have broken out from a 4.5-year long base. You can see here's GDX, GOEX. This is XAU. This is the Canadian GDX, XGD. This is actually a 14-year breakout. And here's GDXJ. So if we look at, let's look at GDX, for example. So it broke out of the low 40s. So this is the support now, the low 40s. If I'm looking carefully, this right here is what we see here. So this was the breakout. Call it 41, 42. So you had this initial move down here, big move higher, crash, stock market crash, strong recovery. Now it's come back down here. But look at what happened this week. 9% move this week. Look at these candles. What does that tell us? I mean, here, we're just looking at a couple, these are weekly charts, but we're looking at the candles, and we can see here, you have this support here, which held, this support here as well, and this one in GOEX. At this point, I don't think we're going to see this move back down to GDX 42 or GDXJ 53 or 54. I don't think that's going to happen at this point. These are looking like they're going to threaten to break above recent highs over the next few weeks. They look really bullish to me. Let's look at the short term. So these are the daily charts, and we can see 2 tests of the support, 2 rallies. This is an even stronger rally than this one. So again, GDX is here, GDXJ. I mean, this is just classic. This was the initial support I talked about. Rally there, went a little bit below it, big rally. So even if there's some selling, I think this support is going to hold. Same thing with GDXJ and SILJ, which we talked about 2 weeks ago. This has tested 13, 1, 2, 3 times. So this has a potential measured upside target if it breaks above 13 of 16. So look, I don't mean to be a cheerleader, but you got to love the price action in gold and silver stocks. And this is really bullish for silver juniors, by the way. And again, this is in the context of silver trying to break above 34 and 35. So that's it for the week. Bottom line, gold and gold stocks and silver stocks as well, they continue to exceed my expectations. And people, this is why, other than a few tiny sales, I've held everything that I bought, because you don't want to trade in and out. It's too risky. We'll take profits when things go vertical and the Brent indicators blow out to the upside. But we're not at that point yet. So I hope you all bought and held, because again, there's way too much risk in trading in and trading out. Hope you had a great week. Hope you have an even better weekend. And I'll talk to you guys again for Macro Mondays. Thank you.